Hello and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man that is currently enjoying a calcium bomb while watching a movie starring Jack Nicholson and Marlon Brando that he doesn't know the title of. It's Norbert Morvan.
Hi, I'm Norbert. What's your name and what do you do for a living?
Hey, I'm Mark Hoffmeyer, and I'm a dancer.
Wow, that's great. Thank you. Okay, bye.
Hey, what about puzzles? How many piece puzzles can you put together?
Oh, dude, let me tell you something, man. I can easily put together a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle, which is a considerable thing to do, my friend.
I love this movie, Norbert.
It is bizarre, and it is a return to the really weird Shyamalan stuff.
Absolutely. And I mean, listen, $18 million budget. It made $90 million worldwide. Audiences were incredibly split on it, pardon the pun. But I love that this movie exists. This is a gonzo, bonkers, beautiful looking movie that they shot on 35 millimeter Kodak film. They went to the Dominican Republic. They built a set that was 200 feet long and let's see, 24 feet high, 900 feet long. It took them months. A hurricane hit it and they rebuilt it back further closer to the beach. I mean, this is all of this work came together to make a movie that Aaron Newworth from Aaron and Abe's Out Now with Aaron and Abe, the podcast that he calls Magic Beach. But it's a bonkers, weirdo, awesome, crazy movie that was released worldwide in like every theater. And it stars a insane cast of big names that are just currently blowing up or are Oscar nominated or are just excellent actors.
Oh yeah.
But then it features bone crunching, and it features a guy called Midsize Sedan, and it features rock climbing and calcium deficiencies and a guy named Jaron who loves to tell people that's his name.
That's his name.
Yeah.
That's his name. He loves it.
It's just I love it. I love that this movie. I know some people have issues with the dialogue, but I feel like when you go into an M. Night Shyamalan movie, you just know what you're gonna get. You know the dialogue, so it's gonna be weird. I get it though.
It's definitely gonna be weird. People are not going to speak like human beings do.
No.
You know, but in this case, I think that his idea was because the two leads, the beginning leads anyway, because they're French. I assume that that's their accent. Because they have the accent, it's going to make the dialogue not seem so weird.
Oh,
because they're struggling to speak English.
Gail Garcia Bernal and Vicky Creeps?
Right.
Yeah,
right.
She's German.
Oh, okay.
And then, yeah, I know Gail's from Mexico, so I mean,
they presented as French to me, man.
Oh, really?
I don't know what.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
I felt like they were France.
And then you're right though, you have so many different accents on there. You have kind of English as a second language. And you know what though, watching this a second time and just writing notes about it, it's just like they're talking about like stop wishing away this moment. You think about the future and probabilities. I look into the past, and there's so much talk about time and enjoying moments. And I mean, it's a good message, Norbert. Like, it's nice to be present.
Oh man, well the theme that Shyamalan himself, he anytime you look up interviews from him about this movie, he just keeps saying, you know, I thought of my kids just growing old in front of me, just getting older in front of me, and I wanted to, you know, try to put forth the idea that hey, maybe we should be treating every day like we only have one day to be alive, you know. Because your kids are getting old, everything's changing around you, and like you say, you need to be present, you need to be there, man, and appreciate just being together with someone else. It's a beautiful message, man. And at the beginning of the movie, deaf wife and insurance guy husband, they just seem like such annoying people, you know.
Oh, Priska?
But at the same time, he's such a good father, you know, that he gets the kids to stop horseplay with statistics, you know, and that's nothing that works in reality. You know,
250 injuries a year.
And they're just, gee, Dad, you're right. Yay, let's hug our father. That doesn't work.
His No Kids Week bit was funny. I like that one. It's No Kids Week.
He's an adorable dad, man.
Yeah.
It's either he's the Earth's greatest father or they're the most boring children, because the boy loves to do 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzles, and the girl's just excited to be there, man. She loves to sing songs written by M. Night Shyamalan's daughter.
Yeah, and don't mess with my spontaneity.
Please don't do that.
And it is true though. I do think that it's especially I guess with me where with my I always have something to do, Norbert. And I'm not everyone here is busy, but I feel like it's really hard to be present sometimes because you're just thinking, I got this in a half hour. I have this in an hour. I got to prep for this tomorrow. Oh, I got to stay up late for this. So this is crazy, but we were reading this book to my daughter. It's like it's a little Yeti comes with a little Yeti softy thing comes with it. And it's about a book about being present and like feeling things with all five senses. And the other day I was just sitting there and I was like kind of hanging out, sort of like drinking my cup of coffee, trying to like quote unquote feel it with all five senses. And it was very satisfactory to me. Because Norbert, it's really hard to be in the present. You know what I've been up to the last 8 months. So it's like,
for sure.
Watching this movie, and listen, he hits you over the head with it, but it's still quite interesting. And I don't know, what's interesting, like Unbreakable, that theme really connected with me, and then you have this movie that just really connected. So I'm so glad when you sent me a list of stuff to talk about. I think I immediately went and bought this movie because I want to know about this 900-foot wall they built on a beach in the Dominican Republic. And filmed during COVID.
The wall is massive, all right? And the wall kills you by putting you to sleep, and then gravity, which is unusual for a wall, quite frankly. The sentient wall that just says, you know what, nah, we're going to use magnets, because, how do they work? You know what I mean? We're going to use magnets to just murder you with sleep and gravity.
These minerals that were built into this thing when they were underwater and then left.
That's it.
But you know what though? You know what I like about this movie is that they establish if you go swimming, you come back. If you go through there's a really cool word for what they called that cave, a slot canyon. If you go through the slot canyon, you're coming back. If you go another way on the beach, you're coming back. So and if you climb, you pass out. So at least it's a movie that's wildly bonkers. But it does set some ground rules that you go, okay, so I guess you heal quickly because of time. Rust can get you. I'm not saying it's like if a scientist broke this down, like, no, this isn't how the body works. Like, but I do think it does a good job of setting up the rules and testing all of those rules. So then I feel like when I'm in a bonkers world and someone just goes, oh yeah, we can step outside because of the like that's why we can do it. I'm like, oh okay, at least they explained it. So I don't know. I just and also in the beginning, Norbert, I don't know if you noticed, like I don't know what I was doing when I watched this movie because the first time I watched it, I sort of let it wash over me. But I missed like Priska has the tumor, and then let's see, Crystal has the calcium deficiency. Rufus Sewell has the paranoid schizophrenia and memory issues. And then you have
dementia. I feel like he had dementia.
Yeah. Patricia has the seizures. And and it's just but they mention that all in the beginning. They show you all of that, and then you bring them to the beach. So I feel like the chess pieces are laid pretty well, and then it just takes you into bonkers town. It's
it does. It does.
Yeah. And I know I keep saying
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh no. Well, I was just saying real quick. In Annihilation, Alex Garland, I was listening to his behind the scenes documentaries about the making of Annihilation, and he said he wanted Annihilation to feel like when you put a frog in water. I've never done this, and then slowly boil it, and the frog just
it's horrifying.
It's
horrifying.
Yeah, it's a terrifying visual. But if you think about Annihilation, how kind of it begins like a stock kind of film, and then it goes into just insane territory. Old sort of hold your hand for a little bit, but then it like once it doesn't just boil slowly. I feel like once a little bit of boil's going, it just cranks it all the way up to 11 and just lets her rip, and that's the rest of the movie. But I do think they get you there pretty good. I like the setup a lot.
Oh, 100%, man, 100%. The internet at the time was just raking this movie over the coals. Oh, there's a big plot hole. There's a plot hole. Why is it that why is it that when Brandon Sedan gets cut in the face, it heals real quick, and then suddenly he can get stabbed to death, even though when they take out the tumor, it kind of closes up, but then the time and Wolverine powers. Dude, he explicitly says in wonderful Shyamalan dialogue that I have a blood condition. It causes my blood to not clot properly because I have a condition of blood clotting.
Yep.
And also, my mother is a dentist because, ha ha ha.
His best line in this scene is when they're talking about ice skating. He's like, "Oh no, man, I don't really watch the Summer Olympics that closely."
Yeah,
That's funny.
He's a good guy, man. He's
Yeah.
a good guy. And Dr. Rufus Charles Sewell, man. Look, when he was in Dark City, 3/4 of that movie works because he's just giving you these dead eye stares and then freaking out and then a dead eye stare and then I love you and then dead eye stare. So he just brings the dead eye stare, except now he's in his 50s and he's just jacked. Did you see his arms, bro?
Ridiculous for a 50-ish-year-old rakish man. Yeah, he's
Dude.
Yeah.
Rufus Sewell is instantly the most terrifying guy in this movie when he shows up on screen with his Instagram wife who has bone density issues, man. And just, are you looking at my wife? Jack Nicholson was in a movie with Marlon Brando as he's about to cut a woman open. He's just clearly going insane, and it's so good. And as soon as he gets on the beach, bro, and before they know that there's a dead woman, he just, oh, black guy, gotta be careful.
He
Don't
moves
like
his
black guy.
tent. He moves his umbrella.
Yeah. Oh, black dude. Oh, can't be that close. Oh, black dude.
Oh man, that's and then yeah, it's so awkward. It's not awkward. I mean, he's just such a. And then he's always telling people he's a doctor, and you know, I love how they set up his dementia. He's like, "My name is Jaren," and he goes, "Do you not remember my name is Jaren?" Oh gosh,
It's Jack Nicholson. Yes.
But you know what though? The thing about Rufus Sewell is he's just so kind of rakish and so he commits. You know what I love about M. Night Shyamalan is that you know Bruce Willis. I know a lot of people in Sixth Sense say that his performance he knows he's not the lead of the show, but it's a heavy performance by Bruce Willis. I think Sam Jackson's amazing in Unbreakable, but then you start watching Paul Giamatti in Lady in the Water, Mark Wahlberg in The Happening. You watch James McAvoy in Split. You just see how actors commit to M. Night Shyamalan. Oh, even The Visit, the grandparents, how much they commit to his films. And I mean,
that movie's insane.
I love that movie. And he's self-funded. He pays for his own movies, but you know, it's like these actors in this movie, like there's scenes where the camera's roaming around. It's not even on them when they're talking. Like
I love that.
Yeah, and you know what the actors said? They're like, listen, like you get on this beach, they have these big old cranes because you don't want to take everything on the sand, and they're just like the camera's rolling, and we have to act, and we don't even know if the camera's on us, but we say the lines. So it's
so awesome.
It must have been so. I think that's why. Like, I feel like people do M. Night Shyamalan movies because like this would have been for a performer. I think not only are you on a beautiful beach during COVID, you're locked down during that, but I feel like it's quite the challenge. And if you watch Rufus Sewell, you watch Tomlinson McKenzie, you watch Alex Wolff, you watch Eliza Scanlon, like they all just commit. Like even Nikki Amuka Bird, like when she has to get into her convulsions, she's just selling it with zero self-consciousness. So I wonder what do you think it is about M. Night Shyamalan movies that actors just commit to them?
He gives everybody. It's not to say that everybody has quote unquote deep characters or massive arcs, but he just gives you dialogue, and you get that chance to just everybody gets a monologue at some point, man. And so you know it's coming up, man. So you got to beef up your character with what's on the page, because I don't think M. Night Shyamalan movies are really big for, you know, let's ad lib. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? That guy's in control.
Yes.
So it's his detriment and to his credit, man. The dialogue, because you got to make it work. You got to make it work. You know.
Oh, that's
Brandon Sedan has a blood problem, a rare issue with its clotting. I mean, he sounds like he's reading from Wikipedia, but it's okay because you feel for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
you feel for Brendan Sedan the whole time. I love calling him Brendan Sedan. I refuse to call him Mid-Size Sedan. I refuse. It's a terrible name.
I mean, between this and The Visit, he loves kind of rap M. Night Shyamalan. It's quite interesting. But I think you're absolutely right, because imagine if during a scene Alex Wolff tries to go off script, I think M. Night would headlock him.
M. Night would punch his jaw loose. Absolutely. Cut! Rap!
So yeah.
Do it again, Alex, like it's on the page!
Oh.
Action!
So yeah, you get to set and you have to say things like, like stop wishing away this moment, and just his dialogue. But you have to. So his dialogue works best when there's an earnestness to it. And
Yes.
And you know what's interesting? Like, you know what I like about M. Night now is he stuck to his guns early on, and then he tried to get big. Then he got bigger. Then he made Avatar and After Earth or whatever. And then he's like, screw it. I'm doing M. Night Shyamalan. So The Visit, Split, Glass, these all make bank, and they're all M. Night. So and he has a show on Apple Plus that's in its third or fourth season. So he's just fully committed to being M. Night Shyamalan. And he even said this in an interview. What I really like, I think he's really starting to get himself. He basically just said, when people go to see an M. Night Shyamalan movie, they go to see a weird M. Night Shyamalan movie. He's like, the thing that's exciting for me and exciting for the audience is when I'm weird and different. When you have a visceral reaction to it, but it's not been curated. That's the fun part for me. So it's
beautiful.
Yeah, but he's paying for all this. He has made, like, Glass and Split made like $200 million worldwide on what, $20 and $5 million budgets. So he's out there just doing his thing, man. I have so much admiration for him.
He and Spielberg have that vibe. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to bet on myself. You know, and it's a story that you read about Spielberg as well, that he tells the actors, look, man, you put your money in, you can be a producer, and if it blows up, it blows up. But if it doesn't, hey, that's just what you got to take. And you don't see a lot of bad Spielberg movies, man. I'll put it to you like that.
Yeah.
You know, people throw themselves into it. You know what I'm saying? They say in sports, bet on yourself, and there it is, because he absolutely went on a run. Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, Signs. People hate on The Village. I love The Village.
Bro, The Village, Roger Deakins. Oh.
That twist at the end of The Village, I did not see that coming, and it hit me. Because the people they were just done with this world, man. They were done. They were done. And I got sucked in. And that monster freaked me out. I love The Village. But then The Lady in the Water, I get why people don't like it, because it's just people doing expository dialogue.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
This is what happens with a snart, and this is how you fight a snart. And the Korean lady is going to angrily tell you that you need to get snart juice and find it in the book. If it was a fantasy movie, instead of people just explaining stuff, it would be a cool wizard telling you have to go here and pick up this, and then it becomes a fetch quest. But The Lady in the Water is a fantasy book without fantasy. In a terrible apartment complex. So Lady in the Water, it's not great, but it's watchable. You need to be in a certain place. The Happening, nah, I can't. Last Airbender, look. So he went on a real run of rough stuff, and then he just says, you know what, time to just bank. I'm like you say, man, he put it on himself. Split was great.
Oh, so good.
And I did not see that coming. That just Bruce Willis is hanging out at a coffee shop. That was awesome. That was awesome.
The audience went nuts, dude, during the screening for Split. And I knew nothing about it. I was just sitting there hanging out.
Nobody did. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. The dude has been through a lot, okay? M. Night Shyamalan. Manoj Neliatu Shyamalan. Born in India, ends up in Philly with his family. And just one of those kids is just born with a camera in his hand. He gets the Super 8 and just starts shooting movies. Like 40-something movies when he was a kid. He loves cinema, man. And I don't like, people calling him Shyamalan.
Oh, I hate that. Like,
it's not cool.
It's completely unacceptable. It's
not cool.
Yeah, no, I hate it. And because it's, my hairs on my neck just stood up. Dude,
no.
Like, so can I tell you something, man? Like, I remember, this is weird to talk about, But and like
Controversy.
before The Visit came out, I wrote a piece for Movie Films and Flicks, and I was like, listen, I love Unbreakable is one of my favorite. It's my favorite superhero film of all time. I was working in a
It's great.
theater when Sixth Sense came out.
Hmm.
But I wrote a thing for MFF where I just wrote he needs to go back to basics, and
Yeah.
I kind of like this is stupid. Like I never tell people what to do with their careers, but I just I'm such a big fan of M. Night that
Sure.
I just wrote, listen, and I even brought up like Blumhouse. I'm like, they're making movies for $1 million right now. He needs to get, and then guess what? He gets with Blumhouse, makes The Visit, and now he's blowing up. So I didn't call it. He never read it. No one knows about my article, but it's just nice that
No.
like he
No, he knows. He knows.
he saw the path. You know what I mean? And he has no idea who I am. However, our Visit episode for Movies, Films, and Flicks is really popular. People like that one a lot. So,
It's gotta be.
but yeah, just like I'm not saying listen. I didn't say this. Other people were saying it. I wasn't the only one. But I'm just happy that you know what it reminds me of is when like let's say M Night is a soccer player, right? And he's playing for a lower league club. He makes a couple indies, and people are like, oh, these are pretty good. But then he has one amazing season, and that's The Sixth Sense, right? He just
Right.
absolutely explodes. So then
Right.
immediately, right, Real Madrid is like, I'm gonna pay you $200 million. So you're gonna be the highest paid striker ever. And then he has Unbreakable, it's pretty good. Then he has Signs, which is really good. And then he has Village, and people are like, oh, well, you know, he's kind of falling off. And then he just completely stops scoring goals. He gets dropped to a lower team. He goes to like a second division team. You know what I mean? Like everyone's like, oh, he's
Yeah.
washed up. He's a you know, he's a has-been. Like everyone's like, he could have been great. But then he starts playing amazing one season, and then he
Right.
plays amazing again, and then he gets back up into the first division, and then he has another amazing game, and then Barcelona, Real Madrid's competition, like shoot, we're signing him. So then they sign him, and then he just goes and beats Real Madrid. Like I feel like he Sixth Sense created such a insane amount of hype for him. The twist ending, the this, that, and the other.
Nobody saw that coming.
And
Nobody.
you can't. You know what's annoying for me in the film world is, and I'm sorry if you've heard this many times on the MFF podcast, but like for me, let's say a basketball player goes out and scores 110 points, and then the next game he goes out and scores 60. People aren't like, man, that game sucked. He scored 110 last time. Like, why didn't he do
Right.
that again? So
Right.
like M. Night makes The Sixth Sense, which was a cultural phenomenon, nominated for Best Picture. Haley Joel Osment's nominated, caught the world by surprise.
Totally.
And then everyone's like, Unbreakable wasn't as good. Like that's such.
Yeah.
It's like
I remember that.
it's only in cinema. Like if I score 12 goals in a soccer game, and then the next game I score 4, people aren't gonna say I suck. Right? And they're not going to be like, well, it wasn't as good as last game. Because nobody ever scores 12 goals. Nobody. I think like, what, 4 or 5 people have scored over 100 points? 3 people? So there's so few movies like The Sixth Sense, but everyone's like, well, it wasn't as good as The Sixth Sense. And it's such a weird pedestal. And then what made him famous, people started making fun of. And
Right.
it's just, I don't know. I just love a good redemption story.
You know what? It's pretty simple. Right next to Shyamalan's name, you know what you see? $3 billion in profits.
Yes,
Story over.
exactly. Yeah.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
That movie's Devil. It came out
Love
after
Devil.
The Last Airbender. He was the writer. He didn't direct it, but he was a writer and producer. That movie's awesome. The vibe of the Shyamalan movie is from back in the day. Growing up in the 80s, there were all of these horror anthology series that were on TV. Tales from the Dark Side, Tales from the Crypt, Monsters,
Mm-hmm.
where some plain person is in a situation, oh, and then horrible twist, there were a monster all along. Or, oh, horrible twist, your mother's actually eating your friends. That's why they don't call you back the day after. And so I've always loved his movies,
Mm-hmm.
And this movie, I'm not out here looking for holes, man. I'm out here, I'm a kid, I'm 10 years old again, watching Tales from the Dark Side on Channel 11 WPIX. So
Yeah.
Brendan Sedan gets cut in the face. He's explained to you that he's got a weird blood clotting issue. And that's why when Rufus Sewell, insane doctor, stabs him 900 times, he bleeds to death.
Mm-hmm.
How does this company stay in business? By making all these people disappear? Breaking news, man. Companies get away with murder. Like for real, bro. We've learned this from Alien and Aliens. Special Order 936, man. All other priorities rescinded. Secure the organism. Crew expendable. Yeah, it happens, bro. There's that lawyer who sued Chevron, and they just locked him up
Yeah.
for like 2 years on house arrest. That guy didn't commit any crimes other than saying Chevron poisoned the village. Well, congratulations. You're going to be on house arrest for like 3 years, bro. Yeah, these things happen.
They even go out of their way to say, we scrubbed all the computers, we just have 3 computers left. Like,
Right.
I just think people do have an agenda sometimes, and then they don't
Absolutely.
listen to the movie, and then they kind of miss things. Like,
No, this is not a movie for putting on in the background, man. There are little details. You might have jokes on the dialogue, but there's nuggets in there that if you're paying attention, it all makes sense.
I mean, yeah, just talking, because they talk about the Warren and Warren in the beginning.
Right.
Everyone talks about their issues that they have during the film, like the private beach, like just, and then they actually show people around the island filming them during it, so
Right.
you know something's
Right.
going on.
Right.
And then they find other old toys and knives, which they set up the knife beautifully. Chekhov's rusted knife. They set
Dude.
up all that. The book. I mean, I love that about it. Like, this isn't.
That was one of my notes. Ominous silverware. Oh man.
But it's all there just for you to enjoy. And I think that's beautiful what you said, man. And I love Shyamalan movies. Now I think I can love them more because just look at them as one of the old serials from the 80s. Look at it as kind of
That's what they are.
campy. Like, Tales from the Crypt, that was so campy. And even, Tales from the, oh man, what was,
Tales from the Dark Side.
Tales from the Dark Side. And then what was the one with Stephen King? Was that with the creature in the box? What was that
Oh,
one?
that was Creep Show.
Yeah, Creepshow. The camp level is so high on those.
Yeah.
And it's a mood. It is a particular mood. And
Yeah.
that's what when he wants to go like The Happening or he wants to go like old, those are the mood that he creates. So it's just look at it as that. Like, it's just, I mean, they built a 900-foot wall for this movie. But yes, I think you are right that the dialogue is very Shyamalan, and you have to. I think that's why he hires such good actors too. I mean, you have to. Oh man, it's even a style of acting in his films that he requires.
The Harrison Ford quote from Star Wars, man, you can write this stuff, but you sure can't say it, It's okay. That's okay, because if you're into horror, you know what you're getting into when you walk into it, man. And then if you're actually paying attention, for example, once you see the kid and the kids start to grow up, and then the kids go through puberty, and then the boy holds the girl's hand. She's like, hold my hand. He's like, okay. And then something goes off in the back of your mind. You say, wait a minute. They're not going to do that, are they?
Oh, they do it.
And then it keeps going. My swimsuit's hurting. I have to take it off. And then the boy's voice gets deeper. And then as events are unfolding, the dog dies, the grandmother dies. Wait, where are the kids? Oh my God, they're in a tent. And then you're like, oh wait, he did do it. That is some HBO 90s Tales from the Crypt stuff. Like DGAF. They went there. They went there, bro.
Oh, and then the baby doesn't make it. I mean,
baby, they kill a baby, dude. How many times have I said to you in this podcast, man, more movies need to kill kids? Well, congratulations, Shyamalan did it.
And then what happens to Abby Lee? I mean, just her bones are breaking. Is that because of her lack of calcium, and then they heal in an awkward direction?
Dude, she needs a calcium bomb, man. She needs a calcium bomb. She's an Instagram model, and her bones just
shattering.
Man. It was so creepy, man.
I do love one moment with Crystal or Abby Lee when they are asking if Rufus Sewell is okay. Well, I guess I should call him Charles. But
Charles.
When I like her reaction to it, Abby Lee, she just kind of does this yes. It's a kind of a really good, shrewd moment of acting, kind of in the background, but she nails it. I also really liked her in Lovecraft Country as well, and she's in Mad Max. She has some pretty interesting filmography with monsters and Shyamalan and Mad Max. But
oh man,
I love that moment, and just when he says to her like put on some makeup, Rufus Sewell says that. I mean, Jesus.
Yes, he's not a good dude, man. You're getting the vibe that he's not a good man from the first time that he's introduced and they're sitting at the table and Crystal is asking for the calcium bomb. because she has a bone deficiency, as she so clearly explains. Like, thank you for TMI. But again, Tales from the Crypt, all of those types of shows, Tales from the Dark Side, characters just explain stuff because it's horror, and you need to know why this is going on. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of little weird things going. Does anyone have a needle and thread? It's 2021. You're on a beach. No, but actually she does.
They come with everything. And you know, I also love her like I also love the way she asks for the calcium bomb, because she's like, I've been to other places before and it's not really one. So it's expository, but it's not as clumsy as it could be. It's not just like, hey, I have a calcium deficiency. What do you have? It's just, hey, are you sure? Because last time I went to a place, like, so it's expository, and it's wildly expository, but it's not soul crushingly expository dialogue. But no. And then she talks about Giuseppe too. That's an interesting conversation right there.
Oh my God. It just, man, this movie, you want to talk about shocking moments? When Trent is holding hands with that little girl and she's just pregnant and they are super proud. The look on my face, dude, I can't reproduce it. This stuff just, no, please God, no. Shyamalan did it, man. You don't hate on Shyamalan in front of Norbert. We will fight.
He went there. You know, I think
man.
So many people, you know what's interesting, I think, in our day and age, and I can understand how people don't really enjoy this movie, but so many people talk about the $20 million original, $20 to $40 million film that is not in an existing, I mean, this was based on a Swiss graphic novel, but it's not, it's still an original-ish IP that's been created, because I've never heard of the graphic novel before, but this is what people want, or supposedly want. They want these $20 to $40 million budgeted films that tell a new story, a bonkers story, a different story. Mm-hmm. And then M. Night drops one, and everyone's like, it's not that good.
But, and this is why we have Mission Impossible literally 7.
Listen, Fast 9, I get it. I'll take a Fast 9 by M. Night.
You know what? All of you. This is why I don't leave my apartment anymore. I can't.
and watching the sets too. I mean, watching the huge cranes that they brought out. They have Pinewood in the Dominican Republic, so they built tanks there. They built that entire coral tank for people to swim through. I mean, but they built a coral tank that acts as a metal tube that prevents the effects of the island on them. So it's I don't know. I just love that people spend a ton of time building a coral reef tank inside of a coral reef set inside of a tank for an M. Night Shyamalan movie about a magic beach.
For sure.
It's stuff like that makes me love movies.
You know, it's like Priska says, man, I stare at the remains of nameless people in glass cases, and I'm about to become one of those people. Does that make any sense?
Oh, I love it.
What does it mean? I love it. What? No, it does.
They saddle her with the most kind of that sort of dialogue, I would say.
She gets all the worst lines, 100%.
Yeah,
They learn their medical conditions from a random sweepstake on a receipt from a pharmacy that you followed up online, and then you got emails. And wow, can you believe I found this online? Yes, it's 2021. Everything's online. Yeah. The entirety of human knowledge is on the internet. Whoa, Vicky.
She does work in a museum. I don't know what that means.
It belongs in a museum.
Oh, wait,
That's what it means.
She was on her phone, though, doing work stuff. So she does get technology. But you know what's interesting, though? Even though that's a wild line to say, I got it. You're looking at this person. Like, who are you? Like, what is your name? You don't have a name.
She's freaking out.
Yeah, listen, like, it still works in the context of the movie, which makes me happy. And it's just, oh man, I don't know why, but I just had the biggest smile on my face just thinking about this movie. And listen, I don't know, whenever I watch a movie, I always want to go read about it. I want to learn more about it. And I learned some really cool stuff. So so this movie shot over 40 days, which makes sense, I would say, makes sense. It had no insurance. So M. Night Shyamalan, if this whole thing blew away, he was out 20 million.
Wow.
Yeah. If the hurricane came through, and it already destroyed one of his walls, so he probably had to pay millions to rebuild that. So they go there, they shoot it from September to November 2020, which,
Hmm.
I mean, that's the height of the pandemic right there. So then
Exactly.
there were strict operational things. But what I learned was the cinematographer, whose name is Michael um, Giolakis, he also shot
Hmm.
Us, It Follows, Glass and Split, which I think look excellent. But he got his inspiration from Australian new wave movies like Walkabout, wait was it Wake at Fright? Wake at Fright? I own it. I have the Blu-ray. I bought it from a vending machine. Wake
Too many
at
movies.
Fright. Yeah, you're right. I feel like my brain. Oh, Wake in Fright. I feel like my
Wake and
brain
Fright.
you got to watch it, Norbert. It's free on Tubi and Amazon Prime. I
I
feel
love
like
TV. So weird.
it's my brain is like a bucket of water that's completely full, and any new information that comes into it, something leaves. That's where I'm
Yeah.
at. I'm at peak saturation right now. But
Peak Homer.
he got his look from the Australian New Wave. Well, you know what's crazy? As soon as I read that, I immediately saw it because they shot this movie in 2:39 to 1 aspect ratio widescreen. And a lot of
Hmm.
these Australian films, they're really, when I think about them, I see a widescreen, I see open terrain, but I also think the land is dangerous. Like in Wake and Fright, you just feel like it's a dangerous world. And Walkabout or Picnic at Hanging Rock. I mean, Picnic at Hanging
Right.
Rock, it's all about dangerous terrain. And
Right. Right.
and so, but it's crazy. As soon as he said that, I saw it. And, the nature in this movie is dangerous. And it does have it has a wildly widescreen look. It didn't do,
Yes.
it captures everybody in there. The camera's always moving. Shyamalan said he didn't want to move straight at any character's face. He wanted to come at them from an angle. There are some exceptions. But
Hmm.
it's crazy, man. But that's what I love. They wanted to make a movie that looked like the Australian New Wave films. And that made like it just makes me happy because I saw it immediately. Like this nature is dangerous. You are at a dangerous place and you are in a situation out of your control. And it's just interesting watching these people deal with this. So
Agreed.
I don't know. I
Agreed.
just thought that was really interesting because I do like those movies a lot. So then I started thinking about it and then I just saw them together. And what's interesting on this one? Shyamalan's smart. He wanted to shoot on film because you can it gets everything kind of there. Sometimes when you shoot on digital, you're like, we'll do it in post. But Shyamalan knew
Hmm.
this was his money, and he wasn't coming back, and he didn't want to do it in post. So they put it on
Right.
film, which costs more money because film is quite expensive now. But he wanted to get it
Right.
right there. I mean, they can, of course, do some color with it later, but he wanted the shot. When he left that island, he didn't want reshoots because that's money.
Right.
So I thought
Right.
that was pretty cool, man. Like that was a smart decision to shoot on film. So I don't know.
It is good.
I'm a movie
No,
nerd,
you make
man, and I dug
no,
it.
dude. When Ken Lung, aka Jaren, aka I'm a doctor, I'm a nurse. You know what I'm saying? Like they were trying to battle each other. I'm a doctor. I'm a nurse. Ha ha. You know what you're talking about with the widescreen look. When Jaren decides, you know what, I'm just gonna swim for it, and everything's going to be fine. It occurred to me that he was the worst mutant in all 20 of these X-Men movies.
Oh, don't get me started.
He played Quill, and that's when I realized, okay, useless X3 nurse decides to swim for it. You know immediately when he's dead.
Yeah.
You know it immediately. You know it immediately. And then, just in case you were wondering, oh, I wonder how Quill from X3 is doing. Oh, he washes up. Yeah, he didn't make that. Yeah, so that plot thread's tied up. But when he starts to walk into that water, you can't even see land on the horizon. That dude is dead.
Yeah.
You know, as soon as he starts to wade in that water, he's dead because the shot is beautiful. That water just waves. Whoosh, whoosh. No land. No land. That
Done.
guy's gone.
Done.
That guy's done for. Done for. And all of that, not just because, you've been watching horror movies for decades. If this is the first horror movie you ever watched, you realize, wait, that guy's going to die, right?
Yeah, I mean,
And that's brilliant filmmaking.
if the other lady doing the backstroke, or was it something else? I don't know. I don't watch the. I don't
Oh,
really,
yeah. She was swimming. She was like an Olympic swimmer, man. She was doing the backstroke and everything in the water.
I don't know. I don't really pay attention to Summer Olympics, but
Nah, but he knew what the backstroke was.
I just.
You know.
Oh, it's so funny. I love that line. I don't really pay attention to the Summer Olympics. But yeah, like and then also I think at that moment there's an overhead shot that just
Right.
lets you know that these people are in a wild amount of trouble. And like you know what's kind of interesting for me is uh, as a someone who is writes movie reviews. I don't think I'm great at it. I'm better at writing like data articles. I'm trying to get better at movie reviews. But
You're great.
no, I'm
You.
not fishing here. Like I have work to do on just writing them because I think I'm just too positive. I don't know. I hate just like and I can't write a review without doing too much research, so it always takes too much work for me. But whenever I go into a Shyamalan film, I'm just like I'm gonna watch a Shyamalan film, so I'm gonna rate it as how good of a Shyamalan film is this. Like when I watch a Michael
Right.
Bay movie, I'm watching a Michael Bay movie. That's how I'm gonna rate it. That's how I
Right.
want to see it. But it's kind of interesting how people see this and they have like a revulsion to it being a Shyamalan film because, well, I don't know. What were you expecting? I don't know. When you go into a Shyamalan movie, you're expecting this, right? You're expecting something
Dude,
funky.
dude, the aliens from Signs, the suicide-inducing trees, even I see dead people. Oh, Bruce Willis was dead. Spoiler alert. None of that hits you like those two kids holding hands and that girl is pregnant.
Yeah.
Nothing hits you like that, bro. He look. No, don't say anything bad about Shyamalan ever again. This movie is horrifying. These people are trapped on a gorgeous beach. You would vacation there, dude.
Yes.
You would absolutely go. What do you mean you want to go to a private beach? It's a private beach, but there's like 20 other people there. Ha, ha, ha. Shut up. You would have went. You know why? Because I've done that before. I've gone to the Philippines and Thailand and whatnot, and then somebody comes to you, hey, you want to go to this other cool spot? You just go.
Mm-hmm.
You just go, man. You don't think anything bad is going to happen, let alone something on the level of this, where just corpses are just washing up and then turn into dust 15 hours later. It's, oh, my God. Like when he was trapped in Phone Booth, what's his name? Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
He was trapped in that phone booth, you know what I mean? Nobody expects to get trapped in a phone booth, being threatened by keepers. I can see what you're doing. You're a bad dude. It's a phone booth in the 21st century almost. What the hell are you doing in them? Get a cell phone, bro. Come on. I'm sorry.
And he wasn't even on a beach.
No, he was in the middle of Times Square, like something like that. And they took that phone booth out. It's gone.
Oh man.
Took it out a few weeks ago. Last payphone in New York City. Gone.
I can't believe Colin Farrell did that movie. It's you, but you're stuck in a phone booth. Oh yeah,
That movie's
great.
amazing. That movie's amazing. Movies where you're trapped are amazing. This one, Buried, Devil. To bring that up again. Those people trapped in the elevator, lights go out, somebody's just been mutilated. Who's next? Shyamalan knows what it is, man.
So Zanandi and I talked about Devil, but I gotta tell you, Matt, like I love that film because someone commits suicide, the world goes upside down. So the intro of the film is upside down Philly, and it looks so ominous and it looks so beautiful. Then it transitions into the building, and I love how the 5 characters they all have a touch of red on them, and then I love the security guards who are watching. I love the bit with Toast. Like everything goes wrong. This toast will land, Toast jelly down. It's such an effective movie. And man, and you know what's crazy? I was sitting in a theater and the trailer for that played, and everyone laughed when M. Night Shyamalan's name came up in the credits. That's how much hate he had at that. So I've been trying to tell people like, listen, guys, like the Dowdles directed it. They directed As Above, So Below. They've done some good movies. So it's worth a watch. But yeah, I mean, I still think they nail the tone of M. Night in that film. I love Devil. And yeah, they're trapped. Jeez Louise. But this one, like you said, the one thing that's nice about this movie is surprise. There is, yes, they get stuck on a magic beach, but I never saw the pregnancy scene. I didn't follow the aftermath. I didn't expect anything of Rufus Sewell. I didn't expect any bone breaking in caves. I didn't expect someone to climb a rock and then just fall. A knife fight where everything heals like they're Wolverine.
Rufus Sewell is just solid with a knife, bro. First of all, okay, that guy, he's just, you know what he's doing? He's on vacation with his wife, his daughter, and his mom, and he just carries a pocket knife because why not? You know what I mean? You might need it. After all, you're a thoracic surgeon. You might just have to cut a golf ball, I'm sorry, a cantaloupe-sized tumor out of somebody. You never know. It might come in handy. That and the needle and thread. Hey, good thing we brought it along, right?
That was nuts. Oh man. And
My
also,
God.
I also want to say too, Tomlinson McKenzie, she kicked off in like big time in 2018 with that movie Leave No Trace. That's really good. But then she
Mhm.
went into like Jojo Rabbit. She was in The King, The True History of the Kelly Gang. But then she jumped on to Old. Then she did Power the Dog. Then she was in Last Night in Soho. Like she's just had. Oh, she was in Jojo Rabbit. I mean, just she's had a gigantic run. That's a pretty good run since 2018.
Hey, man.
Uh, two
It's
best
awesome.
two best picture nominated movies, and I think she sells it here. Like I think Tomlinson does a solid job in this movie, playing I think she plays three different ages, does she not?
Yeah. And to the credit of Shyamalan, there is no CGI that you can see where their faces are getting old on the screen. You know, 1 minute you look at her, she's this age. Next minute you look at her, she's gone through puberty. Next thing you know, she's a grown ass woman. What? It's even creepier than seeing them, with the CGI, their faces. You're getting older right in front of me. That's how somebody else would have done it. You know, you
Yeah.
would you would look at you would see the one shot of the husband and he's staring at the wife and suddenly his expression changes and you hear his wife go, "What's wrong?" And then it cuts to the wife and then the music, "Yeah," and her face just starts going, and she gets wrinkled. That's how it would be. Anybody else?
Yep.
Anybody else would have done it like that. Shyamalan's like, nope, cut. There it is. She's old. Deal with it.
He's the best. And also, you know what's really interesting? I naively thought that maybe that they shot this movie in chronological order. But
Mm.
when I started reading more about this, I was wildly wrong because I didn't consider the sun moving. Like you can't shoot chronologically with the sun in the way they shot. So what they
Oh,
did
interesting.
was they would shoot in the morning when they were like in the first third of the script when it was earlier. And then they would shoot the second half of the script when the sun moved. And then they would shoot the last half, like the last third of the script when the sun was about to set. But they had to change makeup sometimes 3 times a day to,
Hmm.
so you know what's kind of crazy? Each day you have to go from what, 12 to 15 to 25 to 30. Rufus Sewell had to be in different stages of dementia. It's
Right.
but he that makes a lot of sense because you can't do this chronologically because if you did it chronologically, you could only shoot for I don't know, half hour a day.
Probably.
Yeah, so they had to keep running back and forth in makeup and scars and different things. Like that's crazy for an AD, and that's crazy for
Hmm.
script supervision because man, shooting like that seems bonkers. But
Absolutely.
but that's M Night though. He's like, listen, we're gonna build a coral reef thing in a 40-foot pool. We're gonna build a 300-foot wall that's 24 feet high. We're not gonna shoot in chronological order on a studio and use a lot of CGI and like you said, the crinkly noises. We're gonna go
Yeah.
in camera, and obviously there's some VFX in work here, but I don't know,
Yeah, sure.
that really blew my mind though that they shot like first third, one third, two third, three, you know what I mean. Um,
Hmm.
yeah,
Hmm.
I don't
Hmm.
care. I'm so unapologetic about this movie. It just,
Look, man, that's fine. And the next time you watch it, okay, here's a drinking game for you. When Brendan Sedan says, "Damn,"
yeah,
take a shot. You're
damn.
gonna be drunk.
Oh
You're
man.
gonna, damn, damn. You will be- uh, take a shot. There are two drinking games: the Brendan Damn drinking game and just non-human speech
No,
drinking game.
yeah, don't try
You know
that.
what I mean? The non-human speech drinking game. There is no place I want to be but with you. Do you believe me? I want to be here right now. Take a shot. Take a
Wait,
shot.
wait, I want Pacino in this movie. Do Pacino doing Shyamalan dialogue.
You don't know me. I curate exhibits for museums. I'm telling you this because I want you to trust me and not think I'm being hysterical when I say there's something very wrong with my child. Do you believe me?
All right, Keith David.
I stare at the remains of nameless people in glass cases, and I'm about to become one of those people. Does that make any sense? Do you believe me? I want to be here right now.
Last one, Tommy Lee Jones.
Okay, now listen up, everybody. Hi, I'm Norbert. What's your name and what do you do for a living? Okay, thank you very much. I'm glad that you have told me this. Remember, I am the type of person who I can do 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle, which is a considerable thing to do. Every outhouse, courthouse, and penthouse. I can't wait till you are older so I can hear your beautiful voice.
Hey, what book am I reading?
Right? I don't know. I almost cursed. The hell is wrong with you, man? I don't know what you're reading. I'm not staring at you. We've been married for 20 years. Clearly, you've cheated on me.
Yep.
I saw the guy's text. He was like, that guy? Really? Like, I get it. You're going to cheat on me, but that guy? I saw his text. Come on. Oh, man. I love this movie. It just makes you think.
Oh, yeah. I'm so happy. I'm so happy I got to oh, you know what? Oh, you know what's the grossest part of this movie? And I have this highlighted. It's the gross pasta eating.
Yes. Yes. He gives them. This is another one of those things where if you have the movie on in the background, you don't notice. Why are you giving us so much food?
Yeah.
Because they know you're going to be there until you're dead, bro. And they don't want you to starve, okay? They want to give you the meds inside those drinks that they give you at the beginning. They give you the meds tailored to your specific malady. And then they want you to be normal as you can, as your body quickly ages itself to death or whatever. So we can see your disease progress. And then they just so happen to have these healthy kids, pasta's full of carbs. You're going through puberty. Bro, you remember. I used to just be able to eat a box of cookies and be fine, gain no weight.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, that pasta eating was gross, but you get it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'd be crushing some. I mean, and also they are 16-year-old children. So in this, they say Kara age 15. So
right.
She's 15 years old, but she's basically 6.
The mind of a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
Right. They all have the mind of a 6-year-old.
That's awesome. And you know what my favorite moment of this movie is?
What's that?
Is when Trent and Maddox are aged in probably their 50s,
mm-hmm.
and they stop and just build a sandcastle. Like,
that was adorable.
I feel like they're like, we're gonna try to escape from here, but let's just let's try to enjoy ourselves for a second. Like, let's be in the now.
This is our last chance, right? Like, this might be the last thing we ever do, right?
I got goosebumps just talking about that. It's
yeah.
It's such a nice moment, and it's earned. It's so
mm-hmm.
earned. And also, too, I mean, people talk about the twist in this movie, but I love it because it's the 73rd thing we've done, and hundreds of thousands will live. But we'll kill a bunch, but hundreds of thousands and millions will live. I mean, it's not with. I mean, look at animal testing.
Yeah.
This isn't outside the realm of believability. I mean, yes, it is, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
In movie
no.
It makes sense.
They're not. There's no look. They try to make it seem like they're being altruistic, but they're not. Sure, they're going to help people, but they're going to make a grip of money, man. They killed 7 people and a dog to get this medicine, bro.
It's umbrella
and not
shit.
only that, they watched them die.
Yep.
Man. That is sick. If you might have those crazy people, those crazy people that think the COVID vaccine was made to track us. You know what I mean? Those people would look at a scene like that. Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. Oh, fluoride in the water is turning the frogs gay. You know what I mean? These are the things
that's the plot of Dr. Strangelove.
Exactly.
Oh.
Companies, breaking news, man. All the medical companies are they're in it for the money. They absolutely want you to live, sure. But the bonus is that money. So people killed 7 people and a dog. And I bring up the dog because that was messed up. Hey, the dog's dead. I was like, what?
Oh, God. And then the mom dies and the tumor gets taken out. Oh.
That tumor was massive, bro.
Cantaloupe.
Oof. I don't even like cantaloupe. That's the thing that made it even more gross. Because you imagine cantaloupe, and you're there, you're eating, somebody gives you a fruit salad, you get a strawberry, cool. You get some mango, cool. Then you get cantaloupe, and cantaloupe tastes like licking a plastic bottle on the outside. You know, it's not sweet. It's the mouthfeel, because I always love that phrase, mouthfeel. The mouthfeel's not there. You know,
I'm into cantaloupe.
can't do it. You give me cantaloupe, Hoffmeyer, we're gonna have words.
Uh-oh.
Minimum.
So if I give
Minimum.
you a cantaloupe and then insult M. Night, it's just all over.
Look, Mortal Kombat. Johnny Cage is not afraid to die.
Oh, so you're Johnny Cage. Oh, gosh.
Mm.
Who am I then? I'm not going to be Goro because you'll just punch me in the balls.
You're Stryker.
I can't be Scorpion because
You're
you'll
Stryker.
slice me in half. Who's Stryker?
Stryker's the cop from Mortal Kombat 3.
No.
So that ties into your extensive bouncing experience.
Oh, I'll take that. I only played Raiden. I just did backpack forward. So, yeah. I was a scourge of everyone's get-togethers because I was like, well, you got to block it. But yeah, well, hey, before we get out of here, let's do something fun. Let's do a Rufus Sewell. We've talked so much about Rufus Sewell. Let's do a Rufus Sewell draft.
Okay. Rufus Sewell draft.
What do you think?
Well, first is Dark City, because that movie was so... Look, I'm the type of person that'll put that next to The Matrix because it came out before The Matrix.
We should add that to the list.
There's a lot of times that I would watch Dark City over The Matrix. I won't even lie to you.
The mood, the look. You know what annoys? You know, when people tell me that Matrix... Listen, Matrix took so many... I mean, look at Star Wars, though. It's Kurosawa, Sergio Leone, spaghetti westerns. I mean, John Carter, Dune. It borrowed all of that. Matrix kind of did the same thing. You have the Hong Kong wire work. You have that was established really early on. You have the gunplay from Hard Boiled. You have the look of like The Crow. The look of and that's all Alex Proyas too. So you have the Alex Proyas look. And listen, I love it, but it's I just wish people would. I don't know what I wish people. It looks great. I don't know. I'm gonna take a Nightsdale. I'm taking a Nightsdale for my first pick because he's so slimy in that.
Okay, and I know it's not a movie, but The Man in the High Castle.
All right, I'll let you have that
because he plays American turned Nazi, and it's terrifying.
I've never watched that show. I need to watch it.
Dude, every episode starts off, and you just start to see pictures of America. The opening credits. And there's just somebody singing this German, Edelweiss, Edelweiss. And then in the background, there's just strings slowly getting louder. It's the most ominous opening to any TV show ever. And it's not necessarily the greatest show ever, but oh my God, he's terrifying in that show.
All right, that's worth it. I like the cast. I'll just look through it. I'll take The Illusionist, because I remember liking that movie. Paul Giamatti, Edward Norton, Rufus Sewell, Jessica Biel.
Can't hate Giamatti.
Can't hate him. Can't hate the Gia.
Period. Full stop.
All right, what's your third?
We're going Bless the Child, man.
Ooh, Bless the Child.
We got a woman who discovers that her niece is being sought by a satanic cult seeking to use supernatural abilities. I'm in. Sign me up. I'm
going to take Hercules because he's being fun, right? I'm going to take Hercules because he's actually not being rakish. He's just being a funny guy.
Okay, I am going completely to the left of that. Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter.
Oh my gosh.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Mary Todd Lincoln. Anthony Mackie as Will Johnson. Rufus Sewell as Adam, a 5,000-year-old leader of an order of vampires. Yasu.
I'm going to take Gods of Egypt because I love that movie. It's insane. Have you seen Gods of Egypt?
I have not.
Gerard Butler is a god of Egypt.
Sure. Why? You know what? Why not? Why not? Sure. And it's your turn?
Yeah, you're up.
Okay. And just because this sounds like an interesting movie, I have never seen it. But apparently he's in it. I'm going Blinky Bill the Movie, an Australian computer animated adventure comedy.
Oh, brother.
It's got Rufus Sewell as Sir Claude, a British short hair, and the main antagonists, right? British short hair, that gray cat with the yellow eyes, creepy as hell. Why not?
What's this movie? I know. Wait, Continuum? No, I'm not going to take that. I love it. All right. So you got Blinky Bill, All right, so I gotta go. I gotta pick something weird now too. I was gonna pick The Father, but I can't go with that now. Let's do what's some crazy movie she's in here. He's in here. All right, let's see. This is great podcasting. I will take him in because let's see. Jigsaw? No. You know what? I'm gonna take a TV show. Can I put him in the Pale Horse? I'll do that.
Ooh, anything called Pale Horse. Yeah,
All right,
it's got to be it.
So I got Knight's Tale, Illusionist, Hercules, Gods of Egypt, and the Pale Horse. You have Dark City, The Man in the High Castle, Bless the Child, Abe Lincoln, Vampire Hunter, and Blinky Bill.
Blinky Bill, that's right.
Oh.
That's right. In the town of Green Patch, Australia, a courageous young koala named Blinky Bill tells a story about his father, Mr. Bill, while embarking on a journey across the wild and dangerous Australian outback in the hope of finding his dad. Blinky Bill.
I want
Barry.
to watch Gods of Egypt again now. I don't know why.
If you start Man in the High Castle, start with season, I'm gonna say 2.5.
Okay, skip 1.
It's okay. It's promising.
I should have listened to you when you told me not to listen to the first episode of or not watch the first episode of Stranger Things. I did anyway, but I was like, yeah. Later on, I was kind of like, well,
nothing happened.
Yeah. that wasn't necessary.
You didn't miss much. Yeah. You didn't miss much.
Hey, well, thank you so much for joining me, man. This was a blast. I'm so happy that we covered this movie.
I love you, man. And remember, we're going to work on our secret code so that we can send messages to each other. All right?
Ditto. I just ghosted you? Wait. That's a good thing, though, right?
I mean, sure. Why not?
Now you know. I love you too, man. And thank you so much. This is a blast. And I'm glad that your fan club is picking up. And hey, where can people follow you? Where can they find you?
I love you all. Thank you very much. You're very kind. Eddie Kane, EDDIECAINE. That's me on Twitter. And just Norbert Morvan on SoundCloud. The strangest songs you've never heard.
The Con Air, the podcast song.
Oh, put the bunny down.
That's right. We need to get you on that show when we start going. Well, thank you for joining me.
No problem, brother.
All right. So for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, for Norbert Morvan, this is Movie Films.
Yeah.
So for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, for Norbert Morvan, this is Movie Films and Flicks. We'll see you next week.